everybody, and welcome back to KF&JF Podcast. Man, I am so happy to be here today. We have another entrepreneur on the way. I'm your host, Keith. I'm here also with Razak, the co-host, and we're here to get this show going. I like to take a minute just to thank you guys out there for subscribing and being a part of the KF&JF Podcast team. So we thank you guys a lot. So, one of the things with our sponsors and everything we got out there, from Nutrition Addiction to SunMed and all of the different sponsors that we have, we like to thank them too, because they've been a great support in keeping the podcast up and going. But like I like to say, enough of the formalities. Here we go with Razak.
Greetings. My name is Razak. I am the CEO and founder of United Minority Business Ventures. My purpose is to help small businesses grow. This means I will assist with the creative process and maintenance of your business. The method to achieve results is simply building a deeper relationship with your customers. I do this by forming opportunities to communicate and collaborate with your followers, subscribers, and other business owners. By using a wide range of networking tools, we will have an understanding for building your business profile, what type of social media marketing fits your productivity and your availability, and building your financial profile, branding your services, product, or merchandise. Together, we may also determine what type of license is needed to operate your business. And does your budget permit the ownership of your own domain or buying into pre-existing sites that host your page? I like to drive traffic by managing your website. This allows me to work with you to select posts that create subscriptions, comments, and likes. I also assist by generating comments on other individual business sites or a page that create a dialogue of conversation directed towards your page. I also assist with the creation of the content on your media site. This will be a collaboration of ideas which will reflect on your brand, your work ethics, and the community's need to know what you have to offer them to bring a better quality of comfort to their lives and lifestyle. I can also assist with the writing of content, directing your videos, the editing process, and publishing them on various sites for marketing purposes, advertising, and promotional value.
Well, you guys know we really do appreciate Razak and all the work that he does, not only for the show, but for a lot of people that are out there establishing their website and establishing their business that need some of these tools in order to get their business off the ground. I also want to mention to you guys, we also have the KF&JF podcast show. So tune into that as well as you're out there. But for now, we have to introduce this guest that we have. But let's have her do it herself. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
I'm Tasha Jackson. I am owner and designer of STFU. We are an online urban clothing brand featuring creative and bold designs for men and women. We have over 500 items featuring different styles, from hoodies, joggers, sweatshirts, tank tops, crop tops, sneakers, hats, duffel bags, backpacks, crossbody bags, and more. Check us out.
Well, shoot, you got so much stuff, man. I tell you, you got the whole world covered for what they need to wear. So, you know what, Tasha, tell me, how did you get into business? You are such a young lady. What got you into the entrepreneurial spirit where you got your own business now?
I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. Since youngest I can remember is probably about fifth grade. I would first find things around the house that I could sell. Then I was trying to sell candy. Um, then I would try to bring sodas to school. Then in middle school, on my way home to school, I had to pass by a grocery store, stop there, would buy Snickers for $1 and go across the street to school and sell them $1 each. So I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit and a hustle to go out and make my own money. So I always knew I wanted to run my own business. I knew that working for somebody else wasn't gonna cut it for me. I wanted to control how much income I made. So definitely have always had the entrepreneurial spirit. So definitely had to start a few businesses.
Wow, I think that's, it's kind of like, I hope a lot of kids out there know that they can do it in high school to start getting that spirit going when you realize that you need something extra. As a hustle, no matter how you do it.
Mhm.
So, talk about the name of your business. What is, how did you come up with the name of the business and what it's about?
Well, the name is STFU, which does stand for Shut the F Up. Um, So it came apart, really it was like a time in my life where I started to find my own voice. I started to stand up for myself, speak up for myself, and really make a name for myself. And I realized that people were going to have something to say, whether no matter what you did, for it or against it. No matter what you did in life, someone was going to have something to say. So the brand's all about telling the naysayers to shut the F up and do what makes you happy and do what you're trying to and aspiring to do in life. You have to make your desires happen and tell everybody else to shut the F up. So
I
Right,
think
it
right.
was
also,
between STFU and Bite Me. I went with STFU.
I think that's powerful because a lot of people don't understand when you are, trying to grow up and to say was once you start to talk to people about, your own business and wanting to do things and people are trying to give you all kind of different, verbiage, it's hard to listen. So you sometimes have to tell them, you know, shut the hell up. So tell me, how did you establish fashion as a part of that shut the F up?
Well, another thing, I've definitely always kind of been into fashion. My mom in high school, we used to tell me it's not a fashion show, just get dressed and go to school. I'd be wearing heels and all. Hey, where else were you going to go but to school? Who sees you but everyone in school? So that's going to be the place to dress up and go to. So I've always been into fashion, and it might kind of have stemmed from elementary school. Like I said, didn't have a voice. So I used to get picked on for what I wore. I used to get teased. So, girl, so eventually, but it was, you had hand me downs. You couldn't get the latest name brand or whatever. You're going to pay less. Kids in school are mean. They pick on you. They're bullies. So after that, like I always knew, like I wanted to start a high fashion, not high fashion, but a very fashionable. That's what I mean, high and very fashionable, extra cool, top nice stuff that wasn't all these $1,000 prices and hundreds of dollar prices. Like I wanted it to be affordable where people could buy it, but I also wanted it to be quality, so it couldn't be too cheap either. So, but I wanted it to be fashion that people could feel confident in and represent whoever it is they are, not someone else's fashion or someone else's style or what someone else likes and enjoys because that's what's made. I wanted to try to reach as many different people and creative minds and outgoing individual spirits and individuality and make things for everyone to wear. So that's kind of how that started.
That's great, because that takes a lot of
Mhm.
thinking up here to try to put all those things together. So I'm going to ask this question, and I'm going to pass it over to Razak. And what I'd like to ask you is, what was it like starting a business? What did you have to do when you realized, oh, you know what? I got to go get my license. I got to do this and that. Talk a little bit about that part of your spirit trying to get the business actually up and running.
So STFU isn't the first business that I started. I did start another clothing line, but that one was more purchase and resale. This is the first one I started where I was actually designing my own stuff. So I kind of had the knowledge back then from how to get a business license and stuff, although it was in California and this one is in Texas. I mean, not Texas, Nevada. um, so the licensing process was a little bit different. But one thing I tell people is Google is my best friend. I got into New York Fashion Week because of Google, because how I Googled who the producers in New York Fashion Week, who do you have to contact in New York Fashion Week. Google got all the answers. Now it's chat GPT, but either one. I, online search engines are my best friend. If I don't know something, I'm going to Google it. I will figure it out. I will go deep inside the rabbit hole until I figure it out. Um, So same thing with business license, and you just keep asking questions, and you just start from the basic. If you know you need a business license, okay. If you don't know what a business license is or what it entails or where you would even start to find it, Google that. Where do you go and find a business license? How would you apply to a business license? Who needs a business license? Literally from the very basics to wherever your mental knowledge is at, you just ask and keep going until you figure out exactly what you need to do. Or, they do have mentors and different things you can reach out for. But I like Google.
I think that's great that you simplify the way that life is supposed to go when you're needing to do something. Google it or YouTube it. Razak, on you.
Okay. Well, that kind of leads into this question I have for you because, yeah, you can always look up stuff on, social media and do that type of stuff. But okay, so who were there influential people or mentors who guided you during the earlier stages of your journey before you started getting heavy into, just Googling everything? Was there at least some interaction with actual people who was giving you information and how did they affect your journey?
Yeah, actually, it was like my first boyfriend in college. And he was an extreme entrepreneur. Like, that was his life, that was his mindset. We were going to read books about it. And so he actually got me my first business license with the other clothing line and was actually helping me and teaching me how to run and operate a business from at least what he knew, from his journey of starting his entrepreneurship journey. And then I had other um, well, also the college I was going to, I went to school for international business. So I definitely was in school for business. So I learned a lot there, even international marketing, international contracts, business contracts, international business, how to handle things like that. I took a lot of jobs that were in mom and pop companies. So I took a 60% pay cut to go work at a mom and pop company just so I can learn how to run a company. Was able to wear many hats. I was able to jump to many departments and help out a hand in different things. I always became best friend with the owner. Like, she got me my first passport. We flew to China together. She taught me how to negotiate with the manufacturers to get a price point that I wanted, whether you had to use different material or maybe make it a little less fancy or whatever it was to get it to the price point you need for your customers, how to work directly, go to the manufacturing plant, to figure out if they have quality or not, just different things like that. So I definitely had a lot of different mentors along the way, just to that really took me under their wings and wanted to show me the ropes. So I definitely appreciate those that believed in me along the way and taught me things. So not to say it's all Google, definitely had a lot of human interactions to help me.
Right, right. I heard that. I heard that. Yeah, that's always nice because even though technology plays a big part in especially society and how businesses grow and get their content out nowadays, I know a little while ago, a couple of years back, that wasn't the case. We still relied on human interaction. To nowadays, it seems like it's just taking over where it's almost like you don't always think for yourself because you have something you can type in and do all the thinking and they create, this AI thing creates itself. So when it comes to your designs and stuff like that, do you ever feel like it's not? Do you use AI type of technology? Do you like type it in and then it comes up with an image and you perfect it, or how do you have all the creativity of your of the various designs that you have shown us so far and that we know of that you have? How did you keep the creative process going and staying fresh with new material all the time?
So before, it definitely was, like I said, just thinking of different not types of people, but different activities and hobbies that people enjoy, or that groups of people find community in. whether it be video games. You know, you have your video game community, you have your 420 community, you have your Greek community. Although I didn't do like the school Greek collection because, you know, obviously that's copyright and everything. I just did a little more of a Roman Greek type collection. And then the classic low collection, everybody always thinks people need to shut the F up. So that's kind of how that started. So it gave a wide range of different things to think of and to create. And kind of just, my grandma used to tell me, because I write a lot of poetry. So my grandma used to always say that I know how to put into words what people feel. So knowing kind of how people feel kind of helps you to express it in a different way and put into art. And in high school, I was in a visual arts and design academy. So kind of I've always been in a creative mode. You know, I've also been dancing since 5th grade and then a dance teacher. And so I've just always been in a creative space. So my thoughts and ideas, my mind doesn't shut off. So that doesn't really hinder too much. And then I kind of just play with things. And then, you know, you see things every day and you're like, oh, it'd be cool if something looked like this or something looked like that. I did dabble in the AI with 2 of my designs. I thought it was pretty cool. I typed in, well, I knew what I wanted. So I typed in the description of what I wanted it to create, because I'm not a graphic designer. I'm really not. And I'm not even really a pencil drawer. I can look at something and draw it, but drawing it from my own thought process, I'm not the best at. So how I've created so many things from my mind, I don't know. I kind of just piece things together and it comes out the way I want them. But so this time I was like, let's try this AI design thing. And I told it exactly what I wanted. And then I would tweak it. You can circle what you want or don't want and tell it how to put it this way or that way. And then even after it finished, I went into my design programs and tweaked it even some more to get it exactly how I wanted it. And then when I styled them, I added my own elements to it as well. So I didn't just use what the AI had created. But I definitely think it was a useful tool.
Right. Okay, well, that's good to know, because I know, you know, I mean, I draw, I do, you know, arts and stuff like that, you know, and I just think of how you know, you can. I've also seen artists who can actually create something, but you know, I mean, it's AI actually creating it, but I guess it's just the words you put in. And I always just think of when we do things like this of your nature, because you have a lot of arts and stuff and designs in your clothing. So I was just always wondering, you know, how do you come up with all that, you know, on a constant basis and never just have a block or something, you know what I mean, in your brain. And
well, I also
and with
don't
that,
force myself. I don't put myself on a schedule to create. I can go if a year goes by and I couldn't think of something new, I don't force myself to create something new. But also I have over 500 items right now, so I feel like I don't really need to create something new yet. And you know, once people have, you know, maybe 20 or so each individual of each item, then I'm like, maybe I'll make some more from. But right now I feel like I have so many different designs and items to choose from. I don't really feel the pressure to create more. So I think that also helps with creativity. And then, you know, like I said, like when you go places, you travel, I feel like traveling, one, is the best thing anyone can ever do, because you get your mind is broadened. You see so many things, you get inspired by so many things, so many different people, different cultures, different colors, different patterns. So I feel like traveling definitely helps keep the creativity flowing.
okay, good answer. Okay, so from the beginning of your you know, when you very first had the sales, you know, and you're like, you have all this experience because your childhood from your teenage to college and stuff like that, uh were there challenges or setbacks that in hindsight played a crucial role in your personal development, as far as being you know, getting out there, you know, because I know sales is kind of tricky. You know, you're putting yourself out there. You got to know what you're talking about. You got to be confident. You know what I mean? Did you, and then your brand is, you know, is shut the F up, as you said it. You know what I mean? So it's like those things that you had, was there ever a time when those challenges was like, I guess, pushing on you, weighing on you, and you had a debate if you was going on the right track? I guess that's more so what I'm asking. And if
Every
that
day of
happened,
this
how did you
business.
come over? How did you beat that? How did you regain the confidence and keep going?
That definitely, honestly, is a constant struggle. Because I guess I do make sales, but we're still not this majorly known brand. So it's still like I'm putting and investing a lot of time and energy and money. I don't have a team with me. So we're a one-woman show. So there are a lot of times where I'm like, is it worth it? Because pretty much everything I'm making, I reinvest it because I have a certain goal. I don't want to be a local brand. I don't want to be known in a small city, which is great for a lot of people, especially if you're a physical store or you have inventory. It's easier, cheaper, and smarter to be local brand, but I'm online. So I'm trying to reach the global masses. So I'm going to keep reinvesting everything until I hit that goal where everyone that knows Nike knows STFU. Everyone that knows Gucci knows STFU. Everyone that knows Louis Vuitton knows STFU. Like, so I do get to points where I'm like, is it worth it? Is it worth the time, energy, and the money, the stress, the travel, sleepless nights, everything like that? Because I'm not a salesperson. But yes, I'm an entrepreneur, and kids like candy. It was gonna sell. I didn't have to be a salesman to sell candy in elementary or middle school. It was gonna sell itself. So moving from that to something people don't want, I'm creating something new, not don't want, but that didn't already know that they wanted. I'm creating something completely new, something that's not out. My clothing aren't found in other stores. Yes, people want clothes, but it's like they have to want STFU now. So it's actually creating that want and desire, and that even knowledge and recognition of what you have in people's minds is very challenging. And honestly, what keeps me going half the time is I swear it's God, because it just be random things. Like I was thinking about the other day when I was making Mother's Day blankets. My friend randomly posted on Facebook, my homegirl tagged me in a picture she took of her TV. She's like, girl, I just saw your brand on TV. I didn't even know it was on TV. So I was like, what movie is this? So we random things like that. Or someone will contact me and be like, hey, I want to work with you and your brand doing this. Or, hey, I've seen your brand here. Or, oh, I recognize your brand. Or it'll just be something, or someone will comment like, oh, I still have my shirt I bought 2 years ago. It hasn't faded at all. The color's still bright. This is great quality. I love it. I wear it every 420. What? Where's my little heart? And I'm like, okay, people actually really like this stuff. People like my brand. It really compliments, honestly, more than any amount of sales. It really just be the compliments. Or when I have new models come and model my stuff and they're like, oh, now I feel confident. I never took pictures like that, or I didn't never felt like this. Or I get feedback from customers like, oh, I was getting stared at and chased down at the airport. I was about to have a whole fight with somebody, like, what you staring at? And then I realized they were staring at your outfit, and then I just had to tell them where to go get it. So like it'd be little things like that, like, oh, okay, no, we're on the right track. We're gonna make it. We're doing it. So that really be it.
That's good. That's good. I like that that's happening. You know what I mean? So the word of mouth. You know what I mean? People just seeing it and saying, "Oh, what's that? Who you wearing?" And then that's the way it gets around. Okay, so can you share a moment of triumph or success that stands out as a significant accomplishment through your career of being a clothing designer?
That would honestly be the whole New York Fashion Week experience with Elle and Glamour. One, just because I actually did it. For those who don't know, everyone tries to do fashion weeks, but there's only 3 of them in the world that actually matter, and that's New York Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, and Milan Fashion Week. So only one in the US, and that's New York. And to say that I did it, I went there, like I got all the items, I dressed all the models, styled them all, paid for myself to get out there, hotels and all this stuff, to actually make it down the runway, to partner with two amazing brands, one from Paris, who I would have never met, and another Black-owned business in Atlanta, young female, dope to meet. So to be able to partner with those people, and then after that, to get into Elle magazine and Glamour magazine, which is right underneath Vogue, I'm like, hey, that's like my icing on top. Every time I start to doubt myself, like, you did New York Fashion Week, you got in the Elle, you got in the Glamour. Okay, got this.
Yeah, you're reaching some places. Earlier in your career, what I mean. We can only applaud you and congratulate you on those successes alone. You're doing a fashion show. So that's a lot going on right there. But this is what I wanted to ask you, because okay, so you got like 500 something clothing designs that you have. You're traveling to these places. You're talking to all these people. Are there a specific daily habits or routines that you believe contribute to your productivity and your well-being?
Sleep. Love sleep. I swear, people always say, I'll sleep when I'm dead. And, if you sleep 8 hours a day, you're sleeping away a third of your life and all these things. And I'm like, if I don't sleep, I can't think properly. I can't do anything. I can't really function too well. I don't want to do anything if I'm tired. I'm not going to work. So, one, sleep. And then I also give myself grace. I try not to force myself to do something at a certain, yes, certain things you have to do in life at a certain time. But with the things you have control over, I try not to force myself to do certain things if my mental is not in the right state of mind. If I'm going through something happens with family or friends or whatever, I'm going to give myself that grace. I'm going to give myself that time. So I really don't have something on the everyday basis that I do where I'm like, is contributes to that, but I would, besides really sleep, honestly. Probably the only entrepreneur to remote sleep.
Well, that's
Yeah,
right. Every
constantly
entrepreneur,
resting your brain.
My mindset is always you got to make money in your sleep. So I got to know how to sleep and make money.
Yeah,
So,
you gotta, okay, so that's it, huh? You're like you're refueling, and then when you go to sleep, you're like rethinking images, and you wake up and like, oh, hey, I got a new idea.
yeah, I remember having that same thought when I think when I opened up an Amazon or was it Amazon account or one of the eBay, and I used to just go to sleep and I wake up. I was like, dang, it's a lot of money. Green, all these little green checks and things coming through. So making money while you sleep is a dream that comes. If you can get that, then you're definitely doing great. So let me ask you this because I know that it's kind of hard to for some people to understand. How did you get into these fashion shows? What were some of the things you had to do? Was it just connections, applications? Some were denied. How do you get into these type of fashion shows? Because I'm sure we have other people on the show that's got products and designs and trying to get into those runway. What did you do that is something that you could share that other people can do too?
I'm trying to remember how I got into my very first one. I don't know if it was a post I had seen on social media that I came across from another fashion designer. Um, some you do apply to, like New York Fashion Week I applied to, LA Fashion Week I applied to, and Atlanta Fashion Week I applied to. Um, some of them I get invited to, find me on Instagram. But someone honestly, when I had moved, because I move around a lot, I was in Vegas and then I was in Texas. I just got back to California, and I don't know if I plan on staying in California, but so trying to rebuild those connections and find local fashion shows there definitely takes time, but someone had given me a bright idea, which is smart, to use Eventbrite. You go on there, you type in fashion shows, and then you reach out and contact the person on the flyer. You can go to the social media page. Half the time they're posted a flyer looking for designers, but usually you a lot of time, or just go to Instagram. You don't have to go to Eventbrite. You can go to Instagram and search for different fashion shows. Use the hashtag fashion show or different hashtags, or different producers and brands or companies that put on fashion shows, or even modeling agencies and modeling companies. They'll post about different fashion shows. So they'll post about looking for designers, and half the time you'll send them either your website, your Instagram. Sometimes you'll send them your looks. A lot of times there is a fee. Um, Obviously the local shows are way smaller fee. They're more like maybe 100, 200. Some are free. I've done HIV awareness fashion show, and that was free. That was free for all the guests. It was nowhere fashion show. So you can also get involved in things like that. For more expressive fashion shows, they might be a little more lenient. If you want more New York Fashion Week, you're looking more like $6,000 or upwards, depending on the show and your package deal and how many looks you want to show. Some fashion shows charge you based on looks, how many looks you want to show. It'll be a certain number for like 4 looks, certain number for like 6 to 8, certain for like 10 to 20. But yeah, it's not too hard. You can find fashion shows a lot of different ways. But social media definitely is a great one because they're always posting when they're looking for models and designers.
Yeah, I like the idea that you said. Was it Eventbrite? Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Eventbrite. That's a lot of different things. 'Cause they do all sorts of stuff for even regular vending events and things
Mm-hmm.
like that too. So I didn't know that they also have fashion, information for your brand if you want to get it out there. That's great. That's going to help a lot of people understand. Let me ask you this as well. Talk about family. Talk about a little bit, your family support, or do you have family support? What do were they, like we like to say on the podcast, not everybody rides with you when you're in business. Sometimes, you're riding alone. Sometimes you're riding with family. Sometimes you're riding with a friend, and then sometimes the friend don't show up. Talk a little bit about how you're supported. What's your support network?
I definitely had a lot of great support, had a lot of sometimes they show up and then drop off support. I had some, it took a while to get on the bandwagon. They want to see if you're actually going to stick with it and follow through first, and, what you're actually going to do with it, what you accomplish with it before they jump on board the bandwagon. And then also too, my brand is STFU. So I do have a lot of very religious families. I already knew, they weren't going to support it as much just because it has a cuss word in the name. So different things like that. I've lost friends along the way. But definitely like my mom and my sisters, definitely emotional support. They talk about it to other people. They've purchased items. My friends as well. They'll model for me in my fashion, my photo shoots. And help me make content so I can post on social media. So I've had a lot of, and then a lot of my models well, all of my models are volunteer models, but a lot of them don't even know me. They just either rock with my brand, or they want to support me because they see the things that I'm doing and trying to accomplish. Or it'll be the kids of some of my older friends, because I definitely try not to let anyone under 18 model it because it does have a cuss word. If they are younger, they're in the things that don't have cuss words. Not everything from STFU has STFU on it. We have a lot of pieces that do not have any such item because, like I said, we try to reach everybody. So we have items that don't have STFU. But yeah, I lost my train of thought there. Not gonna lie.
That's okay. That's okay. You did good there. Because you do have the support. You got your family. And then you've also talked about what your brand is, and the boundaries that it has with certain people, and that's all great too. So that's just one of the things that just in life, not everybody understands your what it means, and not necessarily derogatory in that way. It has a statement in itself that is part of your life and what you have experienced. Have you trademarked it? Have you figured out how to trademark? Have you thinking about that?
I've thought about it many of times. Um, because the lips that is so overdone in so many different things. It's on so many different things. People have phone cases that look like mine. A lot of people mistake other things sometimes for my brand. A lot of things. The really thing that sets it off is the STFU. Um, so, and then for me, like I don't really feel the need to trademark it if because with the laws here in the States, once you publish something first for sale and you have proof of it, you can kind of win in any court situation. I mean, not any court situation, yes, but I mean, I have copywritten my designs, I've copywritten the logo. I do have my business license and all that stuff. So I haven't really seen the urge to do it yet. Maybe when a little bit bigger. I don't know. I haven't seen the urge to do it yet.
I think you're right about a couple of things there, which is you've got some copyright um, infringement protection on what you're doing, such as the name and all of that. It's just that, like you said, the lips and stuff like that may be in a lot of different other places and stuff like that. I just was curious because I know that it's when you're going out to those shows and people are looking at it, and I don't know if you ever seen anybody try to duplicate it, change it a little bit, and then maybe put it on something else, and then so keep an eye out for those types of things as you're out there, because I do think I have to trademark mine, and I've learned a lot through trademarking my clothing design for sure. So let me ask you about what would you say to the kids out there who are trying to establish, themselves as in business, entrepreneurial spirit, some of the things that you said earlier about selling candy, buying candy from one store and selling it at school for $1, that starts young. So some of these people that have these dreams and desires to have their own business, talk a little bit about what you would tell them to do and how you would caution them as well.
I feel like it all starts with an idea and a goal. And also, yeah, well, first the idea. Figure out one, if you like what you're doing, it makes it a whole lot more fun. I like fashion, so selling clothes makes it a whole lot more fun. I actually enjoy what I do versus if I sold, I don't know, rocks or something. I'm not that fascinated with rocks. So start with an idea. It can stem from yourself if you want it to. My first taste of business was a lemonade stand with my grandma. You can always do a lemonade stand. Get your feet wet. Start with something that doesn't cost too much to make or to buy, or something you can make for free. Free is always better, especially nowadays. You don't even have to buy stuff. You can make things that look pretty online to sell, and you just have to market it to people. So you can even start that way. And then when you make some money, then move on. And if you don't, there's one thing I always say, there's always a way. And my way, I always love to find the freeway. The freeway is the best way because why? It minimizes the risk, or at least the risk to your pockets, because those hurt the most. So you're going to risk more time, but invest in yourself a little bit time wise. So if you don't have money, there's always a free way. Even if you have to take pre-orders, you have an idea, you know what it is, you know what you want to buy, even if it's something that's at the store and you want to go buy it and sell it to somebody else, whatever it is, take it, mark it up reasonably, to where would you buy it if you wouldn't buy it? well, not no, actually no. It's a lot of things I wouldn't buy that people would. So, what is a typical person? Do you know somebody who would buy it? There we go. Start there. Do you know somebody who would buy it? So take your item, take a picture of it, make a pretty flyer on your phone with a free app, post it online with the price. Just make sure your price is over your cost so you make a profit. And tell people this is what you're selling. This is the date you have to order it, and you'll receive it on this date. And start that way. And then you can start buying in advance or whatever it is. If it's a digital product, you can put it on Etsy, put it on Facebook Marketplace, put it on free sites to market on, put it on Craigslist. There's always a free way to start, whatever it is that you want to do. So just start it.
I think that's the way to go. Just start it. I think that gives it up. So let me ask this question. We'll pass it over to Razak, and my question is a little bit about your legacy. You're young, and I know that there's still a lot to be said about legacy, but legacy doesn't have to be something where you have to be old to lead. It's a starting process and building process of your character and who you are and what you're about. Talk a little bit about your legacy and what you see, how you see your business in that.
Yeah, I definitely thought about that a lot in college. They had us write a mission statement about our life and what it pretty much we want to be known as to the world. And every few years it pops back up in my memories, and I'm like, it still resonates. And it's basically like to close the gap between the lower income and middle class, um, and basically help people reach their dreams and their goals. Um, so even with this business, the way I set it up is more so passively. Like I don't have to be anywhere for an order to come in. I can be asleep when an order comes in. And I do not create the order and I do not ship the order out. All I do is design and market it. And eventually I will hire other people to market it. So then I don't have to do that either. But to stream that and that money process. And I always wanted my clothing business to fund my nonprofit business, which is literally to help people reach their goals, reach their dreams, whatever it is you want to start. We're going to help you get to the finish line type deal to help you get away from the paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. Um, so you can live your life instead of just surviving life. Um, so that's definitely something that I want to be known as, and to show people that no matter what you go through, you can always see the silver lining things and stay happy. So even through all of the different hardships that I've had in life, I keep pressing forward, telling the naysayers to shut the F up, and looking stylish while doing it.
Well, I think that's the way a lot of people should live their lives, and I appreciate you sharing that because that's one of those things that I think I try to do too. It's hard to do, but it's definitely something that you're a lot happier as you do it. So, Razak?
All right, we're back at it. Let me see. Okay. Now, uh, we had a couple of things that you had mentioned a little while ago when we were going through your um, your merchandise. So how do your cultural preferences influence your creativity or your decision making when you're in your professional life, as far as your interaction, your models, your clothing designs. You know what I mean? But you're an urban clothing designer. So could you give us a little more in what that means, and how are you projecting that through the creativity of your clothing?
So since we are an urban streetwear brand, I do, definitely try to represent um, my culture more in that realm. and also because we are a Black-owned business, so we definitely want to, represent our people in that because we're underrepresented in a lot of spaces. So I definitely try to hire and work with a lot of Black people of different backgrounds from different areas, different shapes, sizes, for my models and things like that. But I also am a brand that wants to be inclusive and be for everyone, which is why we have sizes 2 extra small to 6 extra large, because I don't want anyone to feel left out in that regard. So, when there are other people of other backgrounds and cultures and races that are willing to work with me, and I definitely jump towards it. I try to find models of all different types of ethnicities, looks, shapes, sizes, tall, short, however, because one thing I try to do in my marketing is show that everyone looks good in STFU. STFU will make a model out of everybody. No matter what you thought you looked like before, once you put on STFU, you're gonna turn heads, you're gonna be showstopper, you're gonna feel like a celebrity because everybody's gonna be watching you. So I definitely try to work with everybody.
Yes, yes. So your brand gives people confidence and makes them feel better about themselves and how they're looking. It's when you wear it, you know that you're going to draw attention. That's right. So you got to be prepared for that.
Yep, it's
Okay.
our warning sticker. One of our little captions is warning. Must be comfortable with attention to wear our brand.
For sure. Matter of fact, I think that's the biggest thing you have is the fact that people are going to look at it and they're going to think, is that how I feel? Yes, that's how I feel. I need to go get one of them.
Yeah, yeah. When it comes to okay, so when it comes to like a overall life lesson that you've learned so far, is there a particular life lesson you've learned that you would like to pass on to others? And this could be dealing with business. It could be the relationships. Okay, so I guess what I'm asking, so when you're dealing with business, you have to give a lot of yourself, your time, your energy, your thought process, and yeah, and like the question that Keith asked a little while ago, some your friendships, your love relationships, your family relationships, sometimes that takes a toll on them, and as you're progressing, you have to, drop off people or they're just falling off, So what would be your life lessons and how would you pass that on to others?
You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's in business and in regular life. I noted like I'm a shy person. I honestly don't have the highest confidence. Gotten there more than what we were. So progress is progress. You fake it till you make it. I love to be behind the camera, but if I couldn't pay models, somebody had to model the clothes. So I had to hop in front of the camera. I had to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. As soon as I started saying yes to more opportunities instead of shying back or, oh, I don't know, more things started to happen. I started to make more connections and network with more people. But even in your personal life with friends and relationships, like you have to get uncomfortable having those uncomfortable conversations to be comfortable in your relationship, because otherwise you're gonna be walking on eggshells or dealing with something you don't want to be dealing with, overthinking something you don't want to overthink, instead of speaking up and having that uncomfortable conversation so that you can be comfortable later and get the desired result you're trying to achieve. So I would definitely say get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
That is just I find that valuable right there. That was good. I like that. I know you had. I think you mentioned something about going to Google or something like that for your information. But when it comes to designing clothes, when it comes to getting your stuff out there, getting your designs, and how to even put colors together, like how you're matching your colors, how are you matching these different I guess illustrations. How do you stay informed about the industry trends if that even matters to you? And what resources or publications do you find most valuable to keep up to date?
Honestly, I try not to keep up with trends. I try not to look at what's out, what's coming out. I honestly try not to even look at other brands too much. I know it sounds a little weird. But even you just kind of, I don't want to be influenced by everything, so I want to create stuff that looks different. Now, yes, I do have things that look like other things. I mean, 420 collection, I only do so many weed leaves, so I have stuff that looks like other things that are out there. And then of course, because I want it to relate to what people enjoy and what they do, so yes, they're inspired by or stemming from different things that are out there, but I try to use the things that I've already seen or experienced in my life, or feelings or emotions, to try to create something. But what was the question again?
No, you answered.
Okay.
You answered it. You answered it. No, I was asking you, how do you stay informed about industry trends, and what
I try to avoid
resources
it.
or publications do you find most valuable? You say you don't really follow the trends and do all that stuff. You don't want to be influenced by something else, or you don't want to say what's in today might be gone in a couple of months. So you're not basing it off of what's in right now. You're just basing it on how you feel at this moment. You know what I
I
mean?
try to
And
create more timeless pieces. It's not gonna fade out this year or next year. It's not some hip fad or new word or new dance that hit the scene and it's gonna go off because the next song's coming. I try to make it where no matter what year you order it in, no one's gonna be like, oh, that's last season. No, we don't even care about seasons. I don't make a summer collection. I don't do a spring collection, a fall collection. I create items. I put them on what looks good, and then I post them for everyone to see. So you can get summer stuff in winter if you want it, and you can get winter stuff in summer, because you know what? We're worldwide, and the seasons are everywhere. So
I like that. That was a good answer. That was a good answer right there. You're not even thinking about it, because it could be summer out here when you're making it, but it might be winter someplace else. So why only try to focus on just because it's summer, you're only going to make this? That's a good answer. Good answer. Okay, so for the people who don't know who you are and they're listening right now and they're being inspired, their interest is being piqued, can you identify what opportunities are you looking for growth and expansion of your business?
I'm definitely looking to get into retail stores. I want to start going wholesale, so that we do have products that are local for people to grab. So definitely looking to expand into that. Um, More sponsoring like music videos and movies, to dress the actors and the artists, um, or even live performances. Um, Honestly, just television, be awesome too. Just trying to expand the brand global. So I try to reach different states. So states that we haven't done fashion shows in, I would like to do fashion shows there. We could even do a pop-up event. Um, Eventually I want to have STFU furniture and everything. So even to expand into more items. I definitely want to start throwing events. Shut the F up and turn up. I mean, who wouldn't want to come to that? Uh, the ideas are endless. If someone has a business, I can figure out how to make it work together. So I'm open to a lot of different things.
Okay, that's good. You gotta reach for the stars, as they say. For the galaxy.
You got
Get
to
up
reach further than that. So you got to reach
there.
to the moon. They say you got to reach the moon so you land amongst the stars.
There you go. Yeah. Okay, let's jump to a more serious note, real fast, because I know you had mentioned it earlier. I don't think we kind of covered it right now. So, and you had mentioned the depressed state that you had fell in, or something that you have overcame. So, I want to talk about the mental health of the business and the aspects, um, how you deal with any stress or pressure or depression that sets in. And I mean, as a black woman in business, and you had to use your brain. There's all these different stereotypes that are thrown on you, cast on you. I mean, there's all these, you might have more challenges than the next person. I mean, so how do you deal with the mind state that you have to be in order to become a successful fashion designer or clothing designer?
Um, well, so like I had mentioned earlier, I give myself a lot of grace. I do. Because I know how important mental health is and how important it is to take days off for your mental health, to give yourself a break, to self-love, to give yourself what you need to protect your mental health. Um, so because I am a one woman show, my business kind of suffers when I suffer, unfortunately. Not as much because like it is online, so it's still always up and running, but marketing efforts, new designs, or business development, business outreach, talking to different people, emailing different people, or finding different fashion shows, or whatever the case may be, that definitely kind of falls to the wayside. But I always tell myself it's falling to the wayside now so that I can mentally heal to push it to where it needs to go again, to get that engine back running. So like, for instance, I had I think my last fashion show was in Dallas, Texas. Um, and so I went out there for a model call. Um, and pretty much I was the day before, no, the day I was supposed to fly to California after the model call in Texas. Um, my late fiance was shot and killed. I was with his sister and his cousin at the time when we got the news. We went over there to his body, waited there till the coroners took it away. And like, this was like, say, right after the Dallas fashion show stuff. So it was was definitely not in the right state of mind. Still sometimes, like, his birthday was just April 11th, and it took me a while to reach back out to you. So I will give myself that grace. Like, the business will be here tomorrow, and if it won't, it's not life or death, but my mental health is life or death. So I have to make sure I'm still here tomorrow, because if I'm not here tomorrow, then the business really isn't going to go anywhere. So I have to make sure I'm mentally okay and take that time that I need to get myself together and not force myself to do business if it's not working with me mentally. Now, sometimes, yes, a good distraction business is great. Throw yourself into business, not think about things, and it's a great distraction. So sometimes it helps. But if it's where I need a break, I'm going to take a break. So give yourself grace always.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I think that's very mature. Not to say that you're not mature or anything, but I think that's a statement that people can resonate with, because you said something that's just, just to piggyback off of how Razak posed the question, is that you said that the business will be there, but your mental health has got to be right. If the business ain't there, then so what? It's not gonna. Your mental health has got to be right to support all of those things that you're trying to do in your life. And so when some people just can't give up something, they say it's got, they're so stuck to it that they allow their mental health to just keep getting worse and worse and worse, and then they don't have, then they're gone, and everything they're trying to achieve is gone as well. So
You can always start the
understand,
business again.
yeah, understanding that is powerful. So I really appreciate that. So what we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna be right back. We're gonna look at all of the clothing line she has, all of the product that she has, everything that she's been doing in this business, and I hope you enjoy this fashion show we're getting ready to show you. We'll be right back.
This is some footage here from a New York Fashion Week from February 2023. This is from our logo collection, our Ice Blue logo collection here. She has her bomber jacket, her crop top, our leggings, and our hat, and as well as our sneakers. Then here's from our Afrocentric collection. This design was created by me. You can only find it on our website. She's wearing the bikini top and joggers for this design. It comes in different items as well, dresses and duffel bags and other exciting items with the same pattern. This one is from our arcade collection, featuring different pieces inspired by classic arcade games. This one is Super Mario specifically. And she's wearing a one-piece bathing suit with the bomber jacket. This is another one for our logo collection. She has on the bikini top and mini skirt, although we do not sell the mini skirt anymore. We do sell it in a dress form, and the matching duffel bag we still have as well. This is from our Greek collection. This is our burgundy, gold, and white. We have this in different color options. Our Greek collection is just fun, different patterns. This is from our 420 collections. Some people like to partake. We have this in different colors as well as many other different 420 items. This is not in any specific collection. It's just for our hustlers and go-getters who want to, always get to the bag. So this is our outfit from them. This is one from our logo collection as well. Tank top, our athletic shorts, our neck gaiter, our hat, and our duffel bag. We also have sneakers to match this as well, but they're not in this video. And then that's me introducing myself at New York Fashion Week as a designer. Yay. And this was a collaborate designer for the waist beads located out of Atlanta. And this was another collab brand. She made the jewelry that the models were wearing from Paris. And that was New York Fashion Week. You start getting into your culture and your roots and realizing that we need to silently speak up, or I guess, you know what I mean? Like, stop talking so much, pay attention, and stand together. This is from our shoot with West Haven Management Agency. This is Sean Williams. He's modeling our bomber jacket from our classic logo collection. This comes in many different colors. This one is the classic logo. We have the ice blue collection, electric purple collection, the Afrocentric collection, which all feature this pattern, the same design with that logo and that different color scheme. They also come in black as well. This is when we were featured in Elle magazine. Thank you to New York Fashion Week. We were also featured with Incota Venom, who's the jewelry brand, and Modern Nature, who is the waist bead brand. They partnered with us for New York Fashion Week. This was also from New York Fashion Week. This one we got into Glamour magazine, featuring our Afrocentric collection. This, if you might know, is Roly Poly from Zeus Network. Baddies, as well as Second Chance Love. She's seen here in our classic logo bomber jacket from our logo collection, but this is in black. This was in downtown Atlanta, right next to the Hard Rock Cafe and Hooters and Chase Banks on a pretty popular street in downtown Atlanta. And this was our Afrocentric collection and two of my other models that were featured with me as well. This is a picture from my STFU's Afrocentric shoot. We did this in like the middle of Vegas off the freeway. It's where a lot of people go ATV riding and things, so it's just wide open, empty lot. And there happened to be a random chair there and TV. And so we started taking pictures. Here is just seeing me dancing and feeling good. And the reason why these pictures are put here together like this is because I put it for our About Us story, which was really about me and how STFU started. I won't read all of it, but to summarize, fought my way through depression and not being able to speak up for myself, and eventually found my own voice, and that's how you get STFU.
We're back with Tasha, right? All
Yes,
right.
Tasha.
So we want to make sure you guys are, have enjoyed all of the fashion and items that she's had, man. We're still going to have a few questions for her, but I know if you saw what I saw, that you guys are definitely going to be wearing this clothing line all over the world because she's been practically all over the United States, New York, Atlanta, Dallas, Las Vegas too.
Las Vegas, Austin, LA. Supposed to be going to Cleveland, Ohio soon.
Oh wow! So you guys be out there. Look out for her when she's out there. I wanted to ask you this question here. First of all, you know what? Tell us about the next event where you're going to be. Tell us a little bit about that place and where it's at.
It's in Cleveland, Ohio. It's a 90s fashion show. They'll have music and food and different vendors. And it is on July 26th in Cleveland, Ohio. It's gonna be a great fashion show with raffles and prizes and lots of great designers with the 90s little twist. So I designed the little this track suit. So we have our windbreakers, crop windbreakers for the females, regular windbreakers, unisex. It's female still want the regular ones. Not everybody wants cropped. And the track pants to match, so you want a nude feel with the 90s vibe.
Well, my God, I didn't know you're going to be, 90s. You're not a 90s baby, are you? Oh
Yes,
my
I am.
God. What?
91.
Man, my daughter's 1990. I remember when the 90s. All right. So tell me a little bit about this is a couple things. You're on this podcast, and I know you probably had, like you said, done podcasts before. Tell us a little bit about what you think about the podcast and how we've treated you, and give us a little idea about that.
Well, I think this podcast is awesome. I think what you guys are trying to do is amazing. Um, just reading up on all of your missions and the things that you're trying to achieve and the things that you have done. It's amazing in the community. It's something that's needed. Um, and then, of course, with all the business help, definitely something that's needed because even just Googling it, you still have to have some kind of understanding. Like I said, I went to school for business, some kind of understanding of what they're talking about, what they're saying. So talking to someone who actually knows helps so you don't get any legal trouble. So, but just spreading awareness, um, showing real stories, authentic stories, um, and just helping people resonate, sharing information, gems, tools, knowledge, resources. I think it's great. I think it's amazing.
Thank you so much, because that's really the goal of the podcast is to try to share knowledge. That's the main thing. Make sure we're putting forth, learning. We can learn from each other. Everybody has an opportunity to see someone where they are or some place where they're trying to go, and all of that's important to the podcast. So let me ask you to do this. I want you to look into the camera and tell everybody how to get a hold of you. What's your email? All about you. Give yourself the best shout out that you can for your business.
So to find all of our products, order is stfudesigns.com. All of our social media is at STFU Designs. That's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, Twitter. I think that's all of them. All the social medias at STFU Designs. If you want to reach us by email for wholesale or to network, that's SHH at stfudesigns.com. And yeah, contact us.
I'm really proud of you. I can't thank you enough for taking that time to call us and call us back and come on the show. And Razak and I, we really look forward to these conversations with new entrepreneurs that are out there. And we thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Good luck to your business. Good luck to everything that you're doing. And stay positive. Stay mentally strong like you've been doing. And we're going to see you on the moon because we're trying to get there too.
I heard that. See you at the top.
See you at the top. See you at the top, girlfriend. I appreciate it. You reside.